I'm just too bullish because I'm too biased, but I want to springboard and say that I put a tweet out a while ago where I said that I actually thought ETH wasn't lagging, but it was leading the market because it led the market in the bear. It bottomed first, right? It bottomed in June of 2022 and then didn't set a new bottom 6 months later when FTX blew up. So my running thesis, which may or may not play out, we'll have to see, is that ETH actually led, and that's why it lagged this year. And as we said at the beginning of the episode, I think maybe Mike said it, Sol got oversold like so hard, right? 96% or something down. And then obviously it rebounded a lot this year. But if you actually look at the price of Sol a year ago and the price of ETH a year ago, they're about the same. So the performance is pretty much like the same if you look at the prices. Maybe not, I guess, the last couple of days because Sol went up a lot, but if you're looking at it from that lens. So I will say, I think that I agree with these guys about if you're talking about 2024, 6 to 8K sounds like a good range. But if the hype gets ahead of itself because of the ETF stuff, if we go like bombastic like crypto likes to do, I don't see why 10K wouldn't be on the table.
Crypto expert Anthony Sassano is incredibly bullish on Ethereum in 2024. In fact, he believes that Ethereum is going to hit $10,000 at some point in 2024. And he isn't just talking the talk either. He's put his money on the line and his almost entire net worth is made up of Ethereum. For those who don't know Sassano, he's a crypto expert and an OG of the space with over a decade spent in crypto. He's made tens of millions of dollars in crypto, so he knows his stuff. In his latest interview, he broke down why he believes institutions are going to come for Ethereum in 2024. And it all comes down to one thing: yield. Because you can stake your Ethereum and make interest on it, Ethereum has a one-up on Bitcoin. If there's one thing institutions love, it's yield. And with an Ethereum ETF likely coming in mid-2024, it looks like the floodgates are about to open to the institutions. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where Anthony breaks down his $10,000 Ethereum price prediction. Also guys, if you want to stay most up to date on the Bitcoin and crypto world, I send out a daily 5-minute crypto newsletter that covers expert predictions, on-chain data breakdowns, and breaking news all for free. Click the first link in the description, enter your email, and join over 40,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now. Now here's Anthony Sassano with his Ethereum outlook.
I think 2023 has been a really interesting year. It has basically challenged everyone's beliefs, I think. Doesn't matter if you're in the Ethereum camp or in the Solana camp or the Bitcoin camp. I think a lot of interesting things have happened across the board. We had 2022, obviously we came off that, and that was a pretty brutal year across the board. I mean, there were so many things that collapsed. The crypto lending market basically collapsed completely. All of the main characters from the last cycle are now either arrested, in prison, or, still sticking around like cockroaches somehow. But, most people got kind of wiped out. And then we entered 2023. The narratives of 2021 and 2022 were all kind of like all defeated at that point. I think that if I'm looking back on the whole year collectively, as I said, just before, we've had a lot of different kind of shifts over the whole year, and we've basically challenged all of our long-held beliefs. And I think Ethereum is at the center of that, right? Where Ethereum has been and continues to be the powerhouse of crypto. So many things happen on there. Everyone talks about it, whether you hate it or love it. It is the thing that everyone kind of talks and thinks about. But over the last few months in particular, right, we've had, Solana recovery, basically, where obviously the prices went up of Sol and other assets on there, but also the network started getting usage. And then, of course, the sentiment shifted greatly in, I guess, the Ethereum community and the Solana community around that. But whenever I look at these things, I kind of look at the timeline that it's happened in and why it's happened. I think that a lot of sentiment in crypto is definitely dictated by what prices do, right? The narrative follows the price. So if the price is going up on something, suddenly it's like the best thing ever. And if something else is lagging, that's something that just gets made fun of a lot. Memes get made of it. But you made a joke before how I was looking at the 2-hour charts. I mean, we're recording this and ETH and some L2 tokens went up over the last few hours in price. And suddenly everyone's now a bull on Ethereum and L2 tokens, like literally within a matter of hours. So I think that if you're ingesting content from like Twitter, crypto Twitter exclusively, your entire mental model of this industry is going to be very warped, I think, and you're going to lose sight of the bigger picture. So I think that just to round out, I guess what I was saying here is like, if you're going to let your, I guess, thoughts be dictated by that, by the short term, you're going to get whiplash and you're going to get whipped around a lot. And I don't think that's a good way to approach the industry. I think that there has been a lot of good stuff that has happened over the longer term. I think that there are certain ecosystems positioned for really, strong long-term kind of growth now. But at the same time, things get ahead of themselves so absolutely completely. And people calling Ethereum dead when Ethereum layer 1 and layer 2s are at all-time high usage across the board is just utterly insane to me, and just speaks to the fact that the narratives have followed the price. And because ETH has relatively underperformed, everyone suddenly became bearish on ETH, which I think is more of a trade bear kind of thing, not a fundamentals bear thing. And it just depends on who you're following and who you're listening to, really. I mean, I think that is the biggest narrative and meme that we really have within the community. And to go back to what Mike was saying about, him not liking the ultrasound money meme, I think in the Ethereum community, we have this tendency to create these insider memes that just get out of control, right? I always felt like the ultrasound money thing was an insider Ethereum thing that we made for ourselves to poke a little bit of fun at Bitcoiners, right? But of course, memes take on a life of their own and they go way crazier than you think they're going to go. And we've done this with other things, right? With like the Ethereum alignment meme. Like that just is not anything that should be taken seriously. It is an insider thing that we talk about amongst ourselves. But because we do it publicly and because we speak about it on Twitter and podcasts and because it's easy to poke fun at, right? The ultrasound money meme's easy to poke fun at. The alignment stuff it just goes much further than we can basically control. And that leads to bad narratives forming, and that leads to people making fun of Ethereum. And I think that's why Ethereum's always kind of in that spot. And I will agree also with the earlier points made around the fact that Ethereum has always sat in the middle, I think, between Bitcoin on one end and all the other layer ones on the other end, because Ethereum is competing with all of that, or at least tries to. Like, I think ETH is competing with BTC. People disagree with me on that, but I think it is. And obviously Ethereum as a platform is trying to compete with the other layer ones as well. But I think, over the last couple of years, Ethereum's competition as a platform has actually shifted to the L2s, right? Because we're using the L2s as kind of the execution layer and L1 as the settlement layer. So we've shifted that. But that is a thing that's going to take a while to play out, because we've now shifted basically what Ethereum was to what we want it to be and what we think it's best to be. But that takes time for the network effects to catch up, for everyone to understand that, for all the complexities to be abstracted away, right? Like the interoperability and the fragmentation, those sorts of things. They're all going to get solved. They're all just engineering issues to me. But, over the short to medium term, they're not going to get solved. They're not going to be seamless. And that's going to be a narrative point for not just the other layer ones to hit on us about, but also for the Bitcoiners as well, because now they have things like ordinals, and now suddenly they're incentivized to pump ordinals and say, oh, we can do NFTs on Bitcoin now. We don't need Ethereum. So Ethereum's always in this kind of middle ground where everyone around us basically is competing with us. And I wouldn't say they hate us, but they're going to obviously not talk favorably about Ethereum if they're trying to promote their own thing. And I don't think, as I said, a new phenomenon. It's been around for a while. But also go back to the point around ETH being that kind of internet bond and appealing to those more TradFi folks. I've heard this from a lot of people, honestly, and a lot of smart people have said the same thing, that, TradFi is obsessed with yield. In crypto, I don't think people understand how obsessed TradFi is with yield, because in crypto, people look at yield like, I can get 5% on my ETH, or I can go degen into this dog coin and make 100x, right? Because there's just like a lot of degens that are crypto natives. But there are a lot of people who care about that yield. I mean, there is a lot of ETH stake. And I think people look at the amount of ETH stake and like, oh, it's not as much as other chains. And it's because ETH is used for much more than staking. But of the ETH that is staked, they're earning a real yield from, obviously there's the inflationary rewards, but then there's the real yield from the network activity, right? The MEV and the tips that are going to these stakers. So people are using this already within crypto. But I think, as I said, like crypto natives tend to vastly underestimate how popular yield is in the TradFi world. And just for everyday people, everyday people don't want to be a degen and don't want to sit on their computer throwing money at random things and hoping to score it big, right? And people do that in real life, like in casinos, but it's not like an everyday thing. Most people don't go to the casino with their life savings and like, I'm gonna put or put it all on black and we'll see how we go. But there's that disconnect. But as we progress into 2024, as we get the ETF, right, as ETH continues to integrate with the traditional finance system and becomes kind of that asset, that breakaway asset, as it was put before, where BTC and ETH are the only things that are there right now. ETH stands on its own because BTC doesn't offer a yield, right? Because it is proof of work. So ETH really stands on its own in that arena. And I think that is a huge narrative that we actually need to be leaning into more, because I feel like a lot of Ethereum natives, they're stuck in like the crypto native memes and narratives, and they're forgetting about the fact that we've actually graduated from that. It's like we're still thinking we're in high school, but we're actually in college now. We should be focusing on that. We shouldn't be trying to impress the high school kids. We need to impress the college kids, right? So we've actually said that we maybe should move forward from the ultrasound money meme, and I actually agree with this, because we made up this meme in like 2019, 2020, because we wanted to prove to the world that ETH was a investable asset. We wanted to prove to the world that ETH was a strong asset, that it would accrue value, and that it wasn't just some shit coin that, had its cycle and now no one's going to buy it again. But we don't have to prove that anymore. Even though the narrative over the last few months has been bad for Ethereum and ETH, right? I mean, ETH is still almost a $300 billion asset. I mean, if you want to do market cap comparisons here, ETH can double and like quadruple or triple Solana's whole market cap from just doubling, right? And Sol has already done like a 10x or whatever from the bottom if you want to do relative comparison. So people tend to forget just how big ETH is as an asset. Obviously, it's not as big as Bitcoin, but because it's that big, as I said, I don't think we need to prove that anymore. So we can move past that. And as I said before, we can graduate to now, okay, everyone knows that ETH is a great asset. Not everyone, but like people generally believe ETH is a great asset. It's investable. It's number 2, and it has all these interesting properties. So what are the new money interested in? What is the new money interested in? The money that's going to be coming in via the ETFs and stuff like that. Well, they're interested in yield. Okay, so let's start promoting that instead of falling back on ultrasound money, which literally means nothing to these people at all. Like even, it means absolutely nothing, right? So that meme is not going to hit with them at all. And I think even term sound money isn't, but yield, right? Yield is going to hit with them. Yield, everyone knows what yield is. I do want to just springboard before I hate giving price predictions because I'm always wrong, like 100% of the time. I'm just too bullish because I'm too biased, but I want to springboard and say that I put a tweet out a while ago where I said that I actually thought ETH wasn't lagging, but it was leading the market because it led the market in the bear. It bottomed first, right? It bottomed in June of 2022 and then didn't set a new bottom 6 months later when FTX blew up. So my running thesis, which may or may not play out, we'll have to see, is that ETH actually led, and that's why it lagged this year. And as we said at the beginning of the episode, I think maybe Mike said it, you know, Sol got oversold like so hard, right? 96% or something down, and then obviously it rebounded a lot this year. But if you actually look at the price of Sol a year ago and the price of ETH a year ago, they're about the same. So the performance is pretty much like the same if you look at the prices. Maybe not, I guess, last couple of days because Sol went up a lot, but you know, if you're looking at it from that lens. So I will say, I think that I agree with these guys about if you're talking about 2024, 6 to 8K sounds like a good range. But if the hype gets ahead of itself because of the ETF stuff, if we go like bombastic like crypto likes to do, I don't see why 10K wouldn't be on the table here. So I'm just going to leave that.
So there's crypto expert Anthony Sassano. It's clear that his bullish stance on Ethereum for 2024 is not just based on speculation, but on a deep understanding of market dynamics and the unique advantages Ethereum offers. His belief in Ethereum hitting the $10,000 mark is underpinned by his own significant investment in it, reflecting his confidence in its potential. Anthony's expertise, honed over a decade in the crypto space, and his track record of making millions gives weight to his analysis. His emphasis on yield as a key factor driving institutional interest in Ethereum, especially with the potential launch of an Ethereum ETF in mid-2024, suggests that we might indeed be on the cusp of a significant shift in the crypto landscape. As we finish, remember that staying informed is crucial in the fast-evolving world of cryptocurrency. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Also, take a moment to check out my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It's packed with expert predictions, on-chain data breakdowns, and the latest news to help you stay ahead in the crypto game. Just click the first link in the description, enter your email, and join over 40,000 others who are enhancing their crypto knowledge every day. Anyway guys, hope you all enjoyed today's video and that provided you with some value. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, all the best.